here we go again. After 3 different dioramas dedicated to each faction, I can finally make one for the Night Elves.
We are coming.
And I was really looking forward to this one, because Night Elves are the best for a reason. Or should I say, 2 reasons? Right, babe? And crafting something better is going to be a challenge. First of all, we need an actual big tree. I chose the last mission, Twilights of the Gods, for the WarCraft 3 Reign of Chaos campaign as reference, and managed to load the map into the world editor to get a close look at the world tree. Then I took a bunch of screenshots from different angles and sculpted that thing with Blender. Since we won't be able to put a whole world tree onto our base, I decided to scale that thing up and cut it into a single piece with roots. Only problem, I don't have a printer big enough to print this thing. At the same time though, KittyTech contacted me and offered me to send me a yet to be released 3D printer for me to implement in my video. And just to be clear, they didn't pay me to do it, and I can say whatever I want about this printer. The Kitty Q1 Pro advertises functions such as active chamber heating, fully automatic leveling with dual sensors, and many more. To give you the full amateur experience, I just drop my model into the slicer and start printing without any tweaking. That was pretty fast, 9 hours print time for this big model, and the quality looks pretty good. Okay, but what about small stuff? I tried to print all the models I initially designed for resin printing, and the results were impressive. You can print my models in a big scale too. The first layer, the speed, and the printing quality are all fantastic right out of the box. Why does the printer have a 4-minute starting procedure with bed leveling and nozzle cleaning before each print? Why is this very loud fan always turned on? Why is it so difficult to insert the metal sheet after each print? Why is my nozzle clogged after each filament change? Why is there no handle to open the door? Why is this filament holder so bad? Why is the camera blinded by the internal LED light? And why do I have to modify the G-code to activate the time-lapse? There is one safety issue I have to address though. The PTC heating element responsible for the active chamber heating on the bottom of the printer runs on 230 volt AC, and depending on your plug position, the heater has a potential of 230 volt, even if not activated. And since you move a metal sheet in and out at the same spot, that's kinda dangerous. I contacted Kitty about it, and this is their response. By the time you see this video, they have also addressed a lot of these issues, so make sure you check out their wiki if you buy the printer. The Kitty Q1 Pro is a machine with great potential. It delivers some great quality and speed, but it also has some odd design choices and a safety issue, especially in Germany. So I hope they get to fix that, then it will be a printer I can hardly recommend. Now let's continue with our diorama. Now where do we put this thing? I think the right corner looks pretty good. I marked the position and spent the whole afternoon shaping the exposed foam with a variety of knives. I started with a tree-shaped pocket for the model, and then I carved a little rock formation and brought everything else further down, while trying to avoid any flatness. I fixated the tree with some hot glue and kept adding more hot glue to all the spaces between the roots and XPS foam. Then I mixed some milliput, a 2-component epoxy putty, and added a thick layer all over the tree. I smoothed everything with some water, grabbed a piece of old bark, and smashed that piece onto the milliput to create some bark texture. At the same time, I used some PVA glue on the wood plate and glued it onto our base and gave it some time to dry with the tree bark. I cut off the milliput excess from the tree and added more glue on the foam, but instead of sand, I used some good old dirt.
I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt.
Because this will give us a really nice forest texture. To make sure everything stays in place, I added another coat of heavy watered down PVA glue on top. Ah, that sound, man.
Nice. What?
I then used some brown to paint both the ground and tree, and some dark grey for the rock formation. The procedure is the same: a thick base coat, a dark heavy wash, and some dry brushing with brighter colors. Now that everything has been painted, I used my static grass applicator and more PVA glue to get some grass down. We are still missing a lot of trees though. I used the fantastic tree models from Sculptooner on my mini factory and printed a whole forest, followed by some priming with a dark green color to cut some time from the painting process, which is basically another round of dry brushing with green colors and layering with brown ones. Then I placed all the trees. Starts to look like an actual forest. Let me add some more tufts, flowers and fallen leaves. We are still missing our water element, and that's why I decided to add a little pond onto our diorama with epoxy resin. Luckily, I don't have to build a mold first. I used a lighter to get rid of all the bubbles and added some leaves to call it done.
Surprise, motherf***.
While curing, I noticed that the grass soaked in some of the epoxy. Didn't think about that possibility, to be honest, but there's nothing I can do right now. Meanwhile, you can tell me which game you would like to see as a diorama next. After curing, I'm faced with two problems. It seems that some white PVA glue appeared on the bottom, and I have no idea how that happened or how to fix it. But the soaked in grass has cured too, and I was able to fix that with another round of the static grass applicator. In the next step, I will design all the buildings with Fusion 360, and you can try to guess them all while I do that.
Every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
In my last video I asked you about our next heroes, and choosing the right ones was pretty difficult.
And you were there.
I think scenarios fits best with Grom in an epic battle, but this is a Night Elf only base. Best scenario for Maiev would be a hunting scene with Illidan, or Illidan with a Naga base. That leaves us with Malfurion and Tyrande, who complement each other perfectly, a hot chick and a sleeping dude. But this time I will add some units to make it more WarCraft.
Waiting on you.
I sensed darkness in the dreamways.
He's like, fuck that bitch, dude. I don't have time for any of that.
The goddess calls. On your mark.
Next up, I separated all our miniatures into batches and chose a specific primer for each of them. Still a lot of paint, so let me call for some help. Toby from Pain Quest came down from Hamburg again. Well, maybe he wasn't fed up from the last time we did the undead ones. Shout out to my new Patreons, Leo Welter, Jason White, Eric Turcot, Dax Production, Radium Zakos, Michael Mounder, Testmac, Giga Big Mac, Ken Karasu, and all the others who help me and support me by making all these dioramas. Thank you so much for your support. Let's go! Oh, I almost forgot to drill some holes into our gold mine. That will be important later. And here you can see the real amateur experience, like this is what a desk looks like while we are painting. Here's my support team, my wife who makes us dinner, Toby working very hard, and Misha, well, he's just there for the treats. Time to finish these.
Done.
For Kalimdor.
Anudora!
Now with all the miniatures painted, we are almost done. But I need a frame. I added a scrap piece of wood into the middle so I can put my diorama on the rotating platform and used other junk parts to raise the whole diorama up and create some space underneath, fitting for a battery box. Then I primed the whole thing black, dropped the diorama in, and added a metal plate named after the Night Elf campaign in Reign of Chaos, Eternity's End. Now let's get our buildings down by professionals, of course. Almost done, but something is missing. Ah yes, I drilled the hole into the gold mines for a reason. We still need some wisps. Now I have these very bright and tiny LEDs which should come in handy, but they don't look like wisps yet. I recreated these in Blender and added a sphere. Then I used the Boolean function which subtracts the LED dummy from the sphere and printed these with some translucent blue resin, which will fit now perfectly on our LEDs. Still one problem, these wisps look just like balls, so we're going to change that too. I drilled some holes into a piece of wood, put all the LEDs in, added some superglue and then 3D printed parts. And then I used some thick clear drying acrylic medium, which I also used for crafting waves in the Orc diorama. In the next step, I marked the positions of the holes with a nail, drilled through the diorama and added our wisps. Wouldn't it be cool if our moon wells would glow too? So I drilled some holes in there too and added another bunch of LEDs in a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
I also drilled some more holes for wisps harvesting wood. In the final step of our crafting video, I connected all the positive and negative cables from the LEDs on a junk PCB board. Added a 9-volt battery and taped everything onto our wood plate. Pretty simple, but this will do the job. That's it. Now enjoy the finished diorama.
I sensed darkness in the dreamways.
Elune, give me strength.
There's only one thing I need to ask you. And hey Josh, can you do that?
Crafting the ultimate WarCraft 3 diorama. Was it any good? Well, my dear viewers, that's for you to decide.
Is it over?
At long last. No king rules forever, my son.
I see. Only darkness before